a political gambit or a betrayal of principles. Jacob Zuma's recent attempts to return to the African National Congress (ANC) leadership following his expulsion raises serious questions about his motives, the integrity of his actions, and the potential consequences for both the ANC and South African democracy. This development demands not just a political analysis but also a critical examination of the ethical and structural implications for the ANC, Zuma, and South Africa at large.
The matter is closed. Zuma is expelled. He's not a member of the ANC. As we speak, we have moved from suspension to expulsion, and we have followed every step in terms of guided by our constitution. If you want to challenge that, he can. If you want to appeal it, it's within his right. But he's not our member, and we're not going to repeat ourselves about it. It's done. He can lead what he leads at the present moment, which today, by the way, we are challenging it in court. It's our trademark. We'll challenge it till the end. We're in court appealing that decision. Jacob Zuma. We have never met with Zuma except in the DC through Tony again since the election. So we don't know what he stands for. Through his appointed representatives. He opposed the elections. He was defeated in the Constitutional Court. He was not there in the first sitting of Parliament. Now, you say we must work with Zuma. What does Zuma stand for? When he gets into government, he replaced even people who were, when he get into the legislature, he even replaced people who worked for the party, the Zuma party, like Khumalo. Replaced them with Hlophe. People who never did the door-to-door. He went, so it's a coming together of friends of Zuma. You know that organization that was called Friends of Jacob Zuma. This so-called MK party is Friends of Jacob Zuma. He went and fetched his friend Hlophe, made him a leader there in Parliament. He made a ridiculous individual demands. The man is out of depth.
The context of expulsion. Zuma's expulsion from the ANC was not without cause. His misconduct, violation of party rules, and active campaigning for another political party symbolized more than just a breach of loyalty. It was an outright sabotage of the organization that had shaped his political career. By persuading ANC members to support another party, Zuma essentially conspired to weaken the ANC from within, a betrayal that speaks volumes about his commitment, or lack thereof, to the party's foundational principles. The expulsion was, therefore, not merely punitive but also a protective measure to safeguard the ANC from internal sabotage. Zuma's subsequent campaign to nullify his expulsion and return to the party's National Executive Committee, NEC, is both audacious and revealing. Zuma's intentions, savior or mutineer. Zuma's narrative frames his return as an act of service, a bid to save the ANC. But save it from what? And for whom? The current ANC leadership has its flaws, but there is little evidence to suggest an existential crisis that warrants external rescue. Zuma's actions instead appear to be a veiled attempt to destabilize the party's unity, leveraging his personal following to force concessions and policy shifts in his favor. This raises the question, is Zuma truly interested in the ANC's well-being, or is this a desperate attempt to reclaim relevance and power? His history of legal battles and corruption allegations during his presidency suggests a pattern of self-preservation at the expense of institutional stability.
No, firstly, ANC became a corrupt organization, not the whole organization, particularly those who were in key positions. They did not talk about how do we proceed to conclude our struggle to be a fully fleshed kind of organization and the country. I'm sure there are many, many things we can talk about. For an example, for an organization to sell the companies of the country without talking to us whether this should be sold or not, economy of the country. Instead, this government was selling the economy to white people in the main. and making us starve forever.
Yes.
I think that says it
Yes.
to some degree. What were the problems?
Yes. When you announced that you were going to vote for MK and that you're going to lead MK, you also said that you are doing this to fix the ANC. Now, my question is the MK a temporary arrangement, or it's going to be a permanent feature in our politics?
MK is a permanent feature. MK is the party of South Africans who think alike, who saw the necessity for us to do what we did.
Yes.
So there isn't a difficulty in what I said, that we are doing this in order to rescue the ANC, and those were my words at the beginning, to rescue the ANC. In other words, to rescue the ANC, which was being abused, turned into something we don't know. I did not say I disagree with the policies of the ANC. I took a vow to die for them. But the leaders at this time were no longer doing that.
Yeah.
We're doing everything as favors of white people, business people, you can call it in many ways. So if I had said, I'm leaving the ANC, I think I would be not telling the truth about the organization I have taken a decision to die for. And I could not just imagine and say, I'm starting this organization out of nowhere and say nothing about what are the reasons.
Yes.
The reasons were that this organization was being killed.
The power play, a masterstroke or a misstep. Zuma's maneuver can be viewed as a political chess game, but it is one that risks exposing his true motives. On the surface, his demand for a leadership position and policy influence seems like a clever strategy to regain control. Yet, it also underscores his inability to function outside the realm of power. His refusal to rejoin the ANC as an ordinary member, just like Thabo Mbeki or Kgalema Motlanthe, reveals a sense of entitlement and a disdain for the party's democratic processes. If Zuma's goal is to force an emergency within the ANC, it is a move fraught with risk. Such a strategy could alienate the broader ANC membership, who may view his actions as a betrayal of the party's unity and principles. Moreover, his attempt to bring his followers into the fold risks creating factionalism that could further erode the party's credibility and effectiveness. A legacy of power and paranoia. Zuma's apparent obsession with power highlights a deeper issue, his inability to reconcile with life outside the political spotlight. His presidency, marred by corruption scandals and court battles, created an environment where power became synonymous with survival. This dynamic not only compromised his leadership but also fostered a culture of impunity within the ANC. By seeking a return to power, Zuma risks tarnishing his legacy further, cementing his image as a power-hungry figure unwilling to let go. It also exposes the fragility of the ANC's internal cohesion, as factions rally around personalities rather than principles. Conclusion: the cost of political ego. Jacob Zuma's campaign to re-enter ANC leadership is a gamble that could either rejuvenate his political career or mark its final downfall. It forces the ANC to confront fundamental questions about its values, governance, and unity. For Zuma, this move risks exposing him not as a master strategist but as a leader driven by ego and a refusal to accept the consequences of his actions. South Africa deserves leaders who prioritize the nation's progress over personal ambition. The ANC, as a historical symbol of liberation, must resist the temptation to allow individual interests to overshadow the collective good. Zuma's return, if not handled with integrity and caution, could undermine both the party's credibility and the democratic ideals it claims to uphold. We invite you to share your thoughts and opinions with us about Jacob Zuma's fight to reclaim his position in the ANC. Your voice matters, and we promise to engage with each of your comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay connected with our channel for more discussions and updates. Thank you for your support.